presenting the key findings from the report which we have done in partnership with Indeed. Very quick takeaways that I would like to share with you. This report was, we conducted a survey which actually had participants from around 185 employers and also with 500 individuals who are from the current workforce and around 2,000 plus individuals from the future workforce. We run this survey between August to September, and what we try to assess is how is the future of workforce looking for the companies as well as the individuals who are in the organizations presently, and also those who would be joining subsequently. You can see here the participation profile of the companies. We had a good set of companies from large, medium, small, be it GCCs, tech startups. So the entire NASSCOM member base participated in this. If you look at the generation profile, we had participants who were from the millennial generation, that is people who were born between 1981 to 96. These accounted for around 57% of the participants, while Gen Zs were around 25%. And also the future workforce, which are actually students who will be subsequently joining the workforce, they accounted for around 100% of the entire survey. Just to give you a brief understanding of how we generally in NASSCOM define future of work, it is broken down into 3 pillars: future of jobs, future of workforce, and future of work place. And the future of jobs, we try to assess, the different job roles or the processes that are involved in the industry, and also how the work models that are shaping up, be it hybrid or the different kinds of the tier 2, tier 3 cities that our companies are looking at. So the jobs pillar continues to, we try to assess that. Under the future of workforce pillar, we try to understand the new gen workforce that is entering the industry, as well as some of the aspects related to the skills that are required for a future of work model. And in the workplace, we try to understand how the physical structure of an office has changed or shaped because of the hybrid model that is coming up. What are companies doing specifically to address to the requirements, the new requirements of people who are working remotely, or when you have a flexible work model. So these are the pillars that generally we try to understand, and the report also dwells a little bit deeper into these 3 pillars. Just taking you quickly through the survey, what we found was, in terms of the jobs pillar, the companies across the industry, that is belonging to different segments, be it IT services, BPM, GCCs, all have already expanded to tier 2, 3 cities. And we know that mainly this is also because companies are trying to look for talent. But what we saw in the survey this year is that more than 50% of GCCs and product organizations are also trying to are actually moving to the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And this is again to leverage the talent pool, and of course cost saving is one of the aspects, but mostly to try and access talent and skills. If you look at the hybrid work model, from the survey, what we found was, most of the companies, even through interviews, that they are favoring a hybrid and flexible working approach. While many of them are also trying to call back their employees to office, but it is mainly driven by the need and requirement of the organization and the work profile that they are into. So the work model is specifically based around that. If you look at the jobs and technologies that are emerging, what we saw that from a very generalist kind of a job profile, companies are now looking at a more specialist kind of roles, be it AI experts, data scientist roles. So there is a shift from generalist to specialists, and these are again very high demanding roles, which are actually where even the skills, professional skills like analytical abilities, problem solving, strategic thinking, these are also gaining a lot of prominence across all the companies. If we go into the next pillar, which is your workforce pillar, you have, if you we did a survey, like you already saw, to see how the companies, the generations, that is the millennials or Gen Zs, which are the industries that they prefer to join. So what we saw that 77% of the Gen Z workforce prefer to enter into a tech industry. Again, this was almost similar to what we did earlier, but also they are willing to stay back to Indian organization for over 2 year period, considering they get the right employee value proposition within the organization. If you look at the DEI, that's a diversity, inclusivity proportion. Most of the organizations are working very hard to build this diversity and inclusivity within their organization. And as an industry, technology industry currently has a share of around 36% in terms of women participants or in the workforce. This is something which has been continuously increasing. If you look at the gig economy, what we have seen is that 80% of the organization who participated in the survey were exploring or willing to leverage gig workforce, and these were also to deliver critical engagements. However, there are still concerns related to data security. We have also seen about moonlighting, but again, the good part is that companies are looking at this option mainly to access a specialist talent. If you look at the workspace, what we have seen is companies are continuously looking at incorporating new innovative and creative models in the designs in their workspaces. Again, this is to attract the talent pool and retain them, because they have found that to motivate the workforce to return to office, a very collaborative and interesting or workspace encourages them to return back to workforce. So this is something which many organizations are looking at. In terms of also, they're also looking at how do you build a culture of innovation within the organization. So when in the survey, it was this is one of the key asks from millennials and Gen Z, whether their companies are having an innovative kind of a learning model. And 66% of millennials and 74% of Gen Zs were happy with the level of support and encouragement that they were getting in terms of how they innovate in their workspace, be it in the job that they are doing or any creative kind of work that they look at. Even in terms of design changes to their current offices, that's something which I already spoke about, but it is also seen that 40% of all the organizations that we surveyed were also looking to lease new offices. So coming back to office is something which companies are looking at, be it whether it is their own office or they are leasing offices, or is it a satellite office co-working model, but that is again gaining prominence. Another important aspect that we also questioned during the survey was what related to the societal impact that the workforce is looking at. So what we found that 90% of the Gen Z and millennial workforce believe that it is important to incorporate the ESG principles in its policies and process, and that actually encourages them, or is one of the most important choice when they choose companies to join the in any organization. That is an important point, whether your company is looking at ESG principles, and also looking at environmentally sustainable practices. These are some of the key elements that they look at when they choose any organization to join. So these are some of the very basic or key takeaways from the report.